adventurers. It's Dozing Knight. Welcome back to another quiet evening of shared tales and wandering through worlds unknown. Together, we find solace in the glow of dreams and the gentle rustle of imagination's wings. Tonight, we have a story that will wrap you in its timeless mystery, a voyage into a world lying on the edge of silence and secrets. In this episode, Mysteries of King's Landing, we will journey to a distant realm where shadows dance and whispers linger in the corridors of an ancient castle. Here, at King's Landing, past and present meet in a slow dance of secrets. Our story follows a curious young historian named Elara, who stumbles upon a dusty tome hinting at a hidden chamber deep within the castle walls. As she unravels the whispers of the past, the lines between legend and reality begin to blur, inviting you to lose yourself in the echoes of untold tales. But before we step into Elara's world, I pose a question to our cherished community. Have you ever embarked on a journey, in life or in dreams, where the destination revealed more about yourself than the path you chose? I'd love to hear about your own wanderings, whether they're storied realms you've visited in your imagination or paths taken in the waking world. Share your thoughts with our ever-growing family of dreamers, where every story finds a home. And if you haven't yet done so, I invite you to subscribe. Join us for these nightly escapes into lands far and wide, as each episode brings new adventures and discoveries. With the simple act of subscribing, you secure your passage into countless stories waiting just beyond the horizon of sleep. Now, as we prepare to embark on our newest adventure, find a comfortable place to settle in. Allow your body to relax into the embrace of the moment. Let's take a deep breath together, in slow, gentle, filling the lungs with calm. Hold it for a heartbeat, allowing serenity to soak into your being. Then exhale softly, releasing tension and opening the mind to wonder. As you breathe in again, feel warmth and peace with each inhalation, and let distractions fade with every exhalation. Imagine a gentle breeze carrying away your cares, leaving only tranquility behind. With each breath, sink deeper into relaxation, knowing that the world of King's Landing waits patiently just beyond the threshold of this peaceful moment. With soft focus and a calm heart, shift your thoughts away from the day's clamor. Allow yourself to become a vessel for the night's promise of gentle adventures. Close your eyes if you haven't already, and picture the castle's silhouette under a silver moon, its turrets reaching out to the stars. Hear the distant call of an owl and the rustle of leaves whispering secrets of the past. The time has come to journey beyond the veil of the ordinary, and so our story begins. There is always something different in the air the moment one steps foot within King's Landing. It drapes over me now, this peculiar blend of sea salt, old stone, and muted anticipation. I draw in a slow breath, letting the tang stir memories of stories my mother told on stormy nights. Even the cobblestones seem to echo a promise. Here lies the beating heart of 1,000 secrets. My name is Elaine, and tonight I arrive beneath a sky washed in soft silver, the sun long surrendered to dusk. I travel light, with little more than a battered cloak and a notebook pressed close to my side. It is not just the city I seek, but its whispers. Rumor has a texture here. Rumor lives and breathes, threading through every alley, every glance. The wagon that brought me jostles to a stop just beyond the fishmonger's gate. Horses nicker, their breath forming bright clouds. and the driver lifts his lantern with a gentle nod. His face is grizzled, gentle, wary. "You right then, miss?" he asks, voice lowered as if privy to the city's shire corners. I nod, heart fluttering inside my chest. There's excitement there, yes, but a hush too, a quieting that falls as I turn from the main causeway and slip beneath the shadow of an overhanging roof. Here, everything narrows. The world shrinks to lamplight. My boots scuff old stones, kicking up a faint perfume of iron and rain. To my left, the city rises, a confusion of red-tiled rooftops, steep stairways, and latticed balconies made beautiful only by their age. King's Landing is neither as grand nor as golden as the old tales would have one believe. It is half ruin, half promise, and I feel its pulse thrumming beneath my feet as I pass through crooked lanes. Soft laughter floats from a tavern doorway. A thin woman sits upon a stoop, her spindle arms wrapped around her knees, murmuring to herself in the mother tongue. Lanterns wink against shuddering windows, their glow painting the street in gold and copper. All is unfamiliar, yet all is oddly welcoming. The city's invitation is a whisper, not a shout. A shiver curls from the nape of my neck to my fingertips. The harbour is close, and with it, the scent of brine and wet wood. Far off, a ship's bell chimes, a thin, melancholy note. I linger, breathing in the scent of tar and honey cakes, listening as footsteps and voices mingle, rising and falling with the tide. At the bend in the road, a stray cat blinks from beneath a wagon wheel. Its eyes catch the lantern glow, 2 chips of ember, quick and knowing. It is confident here, swelling with the sly power of its domain. As I slide past, it watches, and for a heartbeat, I feel as if I, too, am being measured, weighed, perhaps even welcomed in its animal way. I find my inn down a side street, the sign above the door swinging gently. The Galloping Hen. I remember the name from a map my uncle drew, laughing behind his beard as he inked a crooked chicken. Inside, the warmth is immediate, embracing. Wood banks the fireplace, hissing softly as 2 travelers share a bounty of stew and secrets at a near table. I give my name, Elaine, quietly, and coin for the smallest garret. The innkeep, a sturdy woman with sad eyes, presses a key into my palm. Her hand lingers a touch too long, as if to warn me or reassure me or both. When I climb to my tiny room, placing my satchel by the bed, I open the window to the city's night air. For a moment, I am perfectly still, lost in the hush of a city alive with secrets. Tonight marks the start. King's Landing lies before me, wrapped in silver, in quiet, in mystery. I let the cool air wash over me as I sit at the little desk, pausing, breathing, feeling time slow. The walls are thin, the night is young, and I sense that here, in this crooked city, anything could happen. The sky glimmers, the silence unspools, and deep inside, I know I am exactly where I am meant to be. I wake to the hush of early morning, a slip of sunlight trembling between shutters. King's Landing stirs just beyond my small, high window, and the scent of baking bread drifts upward to mingle with the must of old linen. For a while, I remain still beneath the faded blankets, watching the way the light fans across the wooden floor. Last night seems distant yet near, a hush echoing in the corners of my mind like the memory of music. The city pulls at me, gentle but insistent, and soon I find myself dressed and standing at the threshold of the Galloping Hen. Dawn rinses the world in pearl and gold, and I step outside, greeted by the cool touch of morning air. The street is quieter than it was last night. Merchants yawn as they lift heavy shutters. A boy sweeps yesterday's dust from shop fronts, sending little clouds into the clean sunlight. There is a pleasure in not belonging yet, walking slow, invisible to those who call this place home. My boots whisper along stones worn smooth by thousands of other feet. I pass a baker's stall, the warm promise of sweet bread drawing me in. I purchase a roll from a round-faced man who nods without question or curiosity. The bread is soft, flecked with rosemary, still steaming in my hand. Moving onward, I duck beneath a line of fluttering laundry, shirts and dresses like colored banners flapping above. Children's voices echo from somewhere farther ahead, laughter ringing around the curve of an alley. I pause by a shallow pool left from the night's rain, watching as a brown sparrow dips, shivers, and preens. Before darting skyward, its small presence a reminder of the city's minor, persistent miracles. I take another turning, drawn by a lane lined with low lanterns even in daylight. The glass glints orange, catching the sun. An old woman with a basket pauses to dip her hand into a bucket, retrieving wildflowers to arrange into little bunches for the market. She hums in an unhurried way, untroubled by the city's rush. Her peace becomes my own for a moment, and I am grateful for it. Another step brings me before a narrow archway, carved with faded sigils, perhaps remnants of a family long gone, or a sign for those who look closely. King's Landing is layered with these half-forgotten marks. I touch the arch, feeling the engraving slope beneath my fingertips, cool and smooth from centuries of rain and care. In the heart of the street, a lamplighter's cart clatters by, the horse steady and patient. The lamplighter tips his cap, his coat patched but eyes bright. I watch as he pauses at a corner, gathering up wicks and oils, tending to the lanterns with careful hands. The light flickers in his wake, tiny stars left burning into the day. This morning feels endless, generous. Each detail is a quiet offering. The sound of distant bells, the clack of a washerwoman's paddle, the delicate movement of a girl threading flowers into her hair. A dog barks twice in the distance, then settles back into silence. The world is waking, and so am I, but softly, admiring each unfolding thing upon this lantern-lit street. All around, the city holds her breath, caught between the hush of night and the busyness to come. In these gentle hours, I belong not just to myself, but to King's Landing. There is time for discovery, a slow unraveling, before the city crowds in. And for now, that time is mine. With a final grateful glance at the sun-dappled stones, I turn, ready to let the day's mysteries lead me onward, deeper into the heart of this waking city, my notebook still blank, my senses tingling with quiet hope. By mid-morning, the streets have filled, voices rising and falling like birdsong between the eaves. The tide of people carries me along, traders with loaded carts, ladies with cool veiled eyes, a pair of boys trailing a dog whose tail wags in hopeful anticipation. These are the rhythms of King's Landing, and I let them sweep me forward, wide-eyed and unhurried. I am searching for something and nothing, a shape yet unseen, the possibility that any turning might hide a story, a secret, an improbable friend. The air has grown warmer, fragrant with spice and inkwell, hinting at places where ink and paper still hold sway. Down a gently sloping lane, my feet find the promise of books. It is not the grandest shop, little more than a crooked storefront pressed between a draper and a candlemaker. But through the wavy glass, shelves rise in mismatched rows, a gentler wilderness than any forest. The bell above the door gives a single hopeful chime as I step inside. There, the hush is different. Dust motes waltz in the sunlight, turning the air gold. The wooden floor pops softly beneath each step. Behind a worn desk, a man with a shock of white hair lifts his head from his writing. His eyes are bright, soft wrinkles fanning at their corners. A man shaped by kindness and 100 folded letters. He sets aside his pen. "You look like a girl who knows how to listen," he says, his accent laced with the north. "Here long enough, and the city will tell you her stories." His words make me smile, half flattered, half nervous. I'm hoping that's true. I introduce myself, Elaine. He gestures to the shelves. "Choose what calls to you. I've a feeling you'll know." I move between the rows. The shop smells of old vellum and cedar, the sweet breath of 100 tales waiting to become real. My hands glide over cracked spines, sagas, treatises, dog-eared romances, a battered bestiary with a wolf drawn in hurried graphite. Each book has been touched, read, loved. The silence is companionable, the kind that listens as much as it speaks. The bookseller introduces himself as Master Thomas, formerly of the King's Guard, before words called to him more than swords. "The city is layered in mysteries," he confides. "Look close, listen deep, and even the stones will whisper." He offers me a steaming cup of tea, spiced, sharp with ginger. We talk quietly, our words mingling with the tick of the shop's ancient clock. Master Thomas tells me of the secret gardens rumored atop the city's highest houses, of tunnels beneath the streets where rebels once crept. He does not force stories. He lets them unfurl, gently, like petals opening in sunlight. I purchase a slim volume about the history of the river gates. Thomas tells me to return whenever I wish, for news of the world, or merely for a quiet hour. His presence, solid and warm, feels like anchorage. The city outside pulses with noise, but here, peace lingers. As I prepare to leave, he presses a folded scrap into my palm. "A map," he says, "to a place most forget to look." "Follow your feet," he says softly. "What you seek may be seeking you too." When I step back into the crowded lane, the sunlight feels different, gentler, more hopeful. I tuck the map into my pocket, feeling the promise of discovery pressed close to my heart. The kindly bookseller's words echo in my mind, and for the first time, I sense I am beginning to listen, truly listen, to the city and all its woven, whispering mysteries. King's Landing spreads before me anew, ancient, watchful, quietly inviting. I find my way to the river by slow degrees, wandering through twisting lanes as the city's midday voice climbs louder. The map, folded and secret in my pocket, leads me with an easy confidence. Its lines are sketchy, its corners smudged, but it feels like an old friend guiding me on. Sunlight flickers off the rooftops, dancing on puddles that catch the sky's reflection. Along the river road, the world changes. Here, the air cools and dampens, heavy with the scent of wet stone, moss, and the churn of distant water wheels. Boats groan at their moorings, their hulls painted with bright, peeling colors. Children dash along the quays, shouting as a fisherman tosses handfuls of stale bread into the current. The river itself is broad, silver brown, winding like a long muscle through the heart of King's Landing. Its surface is dappled and alive, catching the shimmer of sky and cloud. I pause atop a low stone bridge to watch geese paddle by, their necks forming curious question marks on the water. Further along, the road narrows, pressed in by brambles and sagging fences. A willow leans over the path, its tendrils trailing almost to the mud. I brush past, my fingers grazing the cool, silken leaves. No one else seems to notice this quiet edge of the city, so I walk slow and heartened, the rhythm of my steps joined to the hushed rush of the river below. A cart rumbles behind me, its wheels creaking under the weight of casks and fruit. The driver, a grey-bearded man with a blue neckerchief, calls a greeting as he passes. His smile is brief but true, one neighbour to another in this long, rambling city. I return the smile, grateful for the small kindness. The buildings here grow more haphazard. Some lean as if one good wind would topple them. Others rest against each other, propped like old friends. Ivy crawls along their stones in lazy patterns. In a window above, a girl with fiery hair plays a simple tune on a wooden whistle. The notes drift down, mingling with the river's everlasting song. I find a bench under an overhanging elm and sit, pulling out my notebook and the map Master Thomas gave me. For a time, I sketch what I see: the bobbing boats, the lines of washing, a stray dog curled in sunlight. My pencil moves slowly, each mark a way of remembering the day. Across the river, the city's busy market shimmers in the haze. I hear shouts and bargains, laughter, the clamour of barrels rolling, and the clang of a distant anvil. Yet here, shielded by trees and water, I float in a capsule of calm. An old woman with a scarf wound around her shoulders sits beside me, a basket of herbs resting in her lap. We exchange soft pleasantries about the weather, about the way the city seems to breathe easier by the river. She gifts me a sprig of lavender, her fingers knotted but sure. The minutes unfurl. I close my eyes and listen, letting the steady hush below fill me. The river does not hurry. I do not hurry either. For the first time since arriving, I feel myself settling, my heart slowly tuned to the calm, rolling music of King's Landing's silver vein. It is a gift, this gentle journey along the river. I tuck the memory away, as precious as the lavender, and prepare to rise, following the map's secret paths deeper into the city's quieter mysteries. After leaving the cool sanctuary of the riverbank, I drift through the city's oldest quarter, clutching the map's fading lines. They suggest a route I would never have chosen on my own, a series of loops and turnings that slip away from the wide causeways into narrower, secret ways. The stone feels older here, weathered by time and too many footsteps. Lichen paints the mortar in mottled green and grey. A flight of ancient steps appears just as the map predicted, steep, uneven, half claimed by moss. They tumble down between leaning houses, vanishing from the eye's reach into cool shadow. I pause at the top, feeling a moment's hush as the city's noises are muffled by the close stone. My heart hammers gently, not with fear, but a delicious anticipation. Carefully, I place my feet, hands trailing along the damp wall for balance. Each step brings a fresh note, the earthy breath of moss, a trickle of water, the metallic tang of distant bells. Most of the city hurries above, oblivious to these hidden places. Here below, even the air sounds softer. Halfway down, a window stands open above me. A gentle voice filters out, singing a lullaby in lilting syllables I cannot quite catch. Children's laughter drifts after, light and bright. For a brief spell, I close my eyes and let their music carry me, a lull beneath the city's rush. At the turning of the stair, sunlight slips through a broken tile, spotlighting a tiny mosaic beneath my feet. Blue and gold stones sketch out the outline of a wren surrounded by vines. I crouch, touching it with wonder. How many feet have hurried over this, never pausing? How many stories does this little bird hold, hidden in the stone? Continuing, I find the steps end in a walled courtyard cool with shade, silent but for the drip of water from an unseen spout. Time slows here. Ivy hangs in thick clusters, and a single bench offers a seat beside a narrow fountain whose basin is carpeted in coin and fallen leaves. I sit, remembering the bookseller's advice. Look close, listen deep. The walls arch above me, enclosing the small space from the city beyond. In this hush, I count the ripples in the fountain, trace the patterns the sun makes as it filters through leaves. For a moment, the world holds its breath. A grey cat slips into the courtyard, its green eyes assessing me skeptically before curling beneath the bench. We share a companionable silence. The cat purrs, and I breathe slow, grounding in the stone's cool peace. On a nearby wall, a faded mural catches my eye. A dragon in painted flight, wings outstretched, its body winding between faded towers. The colors are pale, but the spirit of the beast remains, etched with pride and longing. I study it, letting imagination fill the gaps left by time. Did children once marvel here? Did lovers meet in this hidden place, shielded from the world? It strikes me that King's Landing is made not just of history, but of quiet corners and unnoticed joys. These ancient steps and secret courtyards form the secret skeleton of the city, quiet, enduring, patient. Rising at last, I tuck away a fallen petal from the ivy for my notebook, a small reminder of gentle time. The grey cat blinks and lets me pass, as if in approval. Beyond the shaded entrance, sunlight fans out, drawing me back into the flow of King's Landing. My steps softer, slower, my heart quietly alive to the city's mysteries. Drawn by curiosity and the battered map, I find myself in a lesser-known quarter, well past midday, where King's Landing thins and deepens at once. Here, the bustle dissolves, and even the hawker's calls echo soft, muted, as if reverence hangs in the air. The stones seem to listen more than they speak. According to Master Thomas's map, a passage lies near the old bell tower, marked by an etching of a sun. I scour the walls, fingers tracing their ancient surface until I feel the deep grooved rays gouged into a block at knee height. It blooms beneath my touch, worn almost smooth by the devotion of countless explorers before me. A narrow lane leads away, dark and cool. The air smells of damp earth and stone dust, a scent both heavy and clean. I step lightly, alert to the change in resonance beneath my boots. There is another world just beneath these streets, and today I am its quiet guest. I reach a door set flush to the ground, half swallowed by vines. I probe gently, and with a soft groan, it yields, revealing descending stairs chipped rough from the bedrock. I pause a moment, heart thudding, then step down. The darkness absorbs me, but soon, faint torchlight flickers at the bottom, warm, reassuring, golden. The chamber is smaller than I imagined. Its walls are lined with uneven stones, each one carved or inked with initials, symbols, dates. In the hush, every sound magnifies. The drip of water, the soft thump of my satchel, even my own slow breath. I let my eyes adjust. In the center stands a pedestal holding an old ledger, parchment singed at the edges, open to pages crowded with looping script, notes, observations, confessions. Here, city dwellers have left their thoughts as others light candles for hope. I run my fingers over the ink, awed by the persistence of so many quiet souls. On a shelf nearby, someone has left a tiny wooden figurine, the likeness of a fish, chipped and smiling. I imagine a child, earnest and shy, placing it here for luck. On another shelf, 3 river stones form a triangle, smooth from years of tide and touch. This is King's Landing's hidden soul, an undercurrent of memory that does not demand, does not shout, but endures simply by being. In this quiet, I add a line to the ledger, as so many have before me. For journeys begun and mysteries that comfort, I sign my name, Elaine, small but whole beneath the glow. Sitting on the cold stone bench, time seems to slow again. The darkness is not frightening, but gentle, as if holding in trust those 2 tender things the world above sometimes forgets. I close my eyes and let the hush settle. After a time, I rise and climb the stairs, blinking as sunlight finds me. I leave the door just as I found it, the map securely in my pocket, its secrets shared with me and the city alone. Outside, the world feels changed, not louder, just clearer. The rhythm of footfalls on cobblestone, the glide of a bird's shadow across a wall. Each detail hums gently in my senses. King's Landing shows herself slowly, but graciously, to those who listen and wander quietly through her stones. With a grateful heart, I take another step, ready for whatever gentle mystery awaits me next. Just before night falls again, I seek out a place for stillness, a place Master Thomas murmured of, half as legend, half as fact. There are gardens in King's Landing, he told me, hidden above the noise, where even the wind hushes out of courtesy. His words return as dusk begins to kneel before the city's rooftops, and my feet glide along lanes deepening into blue shadow. Following the faded route, I find a small arched doorway set into the wall of an old merchant's house. Above it is a twisted iron lantern, its glass smeared with age. The handle is cool and unyielding in my palm, but with the right pressure it gives, and I slip inside. The passage rises in winding steps, warm and scented with crushed herbs. Each footfall echoes, yet the quiet is soft, no harsh edge or threat. At the top, a door yields to gentle pressure, and I step out into a hush so complete my heart thuds in answer. Here, secret gardens sprawl atop the roof, sheltered by stone balustrades and old grapevines. Patches of thyme and rosemary edge narrow beds, their perfume lifted on faint breezes. Moonflowers spill pale velvet over trellises, star-bright in the dimming light. A path of flat river rocks weaves among the greenery. I trail my hand along the tops of dew-wet leaves and let the sensation root me. Overhead, a lantern swings in lazy arcs, fireflies tangling gently through its glow. No other soul disturbs the calm. Only the softest shuffle betrays a pair of robins skimming through the brambles. In this quiet height, the city grows distant and gentle. Its noise faded to pleasant hum, its fires flickering like pinpricks far below. I lower myself onto a stone bench warmed by the day's last heat, pressing my palm over my notebook. The garden thrums with life, yet every pulse is patient, ripe with quiet joy. To my right, an old pomegranate tree splays its tangled branches, heavy with fruit dark as garnets. I watch as a bee burrows between pale petals, content in its purpose. Glide of wind, sigh of reeds, the almost imagined creak of a weathered rope swing. These are the garden's secrets, shared only with those who move slow and honor the silence. I close my eyes and listen for what Master Thomas meant. To be truly at home in King's Landing is not about knowing every lane, but about finding these oases of peace, letting their calm seep beneath the skin. I am more myself here than anywhere else since my arrival. The garden does not begrudge my presence. It welcomes gently, the way old friends do, with a quiet hand on my shoulder and a wordless comfort. I sketch a single feather lying in the grass, its down still as the world around me. Darkness thickens and stars bloom above. The lantern casts pale circles on the stones. I rise slowly, not wanting to break the spell. Before slipping away, I breathe in the smell of lavender and cool earth, carrying it with me as I descend into the city's blue-lidded night. Through the door and into the soft hush of evening, I feel changed, my heart held in the careful, patient hands of King's Landing's quiet gardens. Sleep comes easily after the garden's hush, but I rise before dawn, drawn by the promise of water and wind. The old map's edge hints at a lookout to the east, above Blackwater Bay, where the sea meets city in a rough, endless embrace. I wrap my cloak close, knowing the air will be thick with tide and salt. The way leads through snaking alleyways, past rickety balconies and taverns just shuttered after a night of stories. A tangle of vines snags my sleeve, dropping tiny petals as apology. My boots ring sharp on flagstones whittled thin by storms long past. At the end of a rising lane, stone steps sweep up, flecked with rainwater and moss. I climb, steady, feeling a hush settle over me. The sleeping city disappears below in layers of blue, gold, and pearl. Only the wind and my own careful breath accompany me to the top. There, a broad terrace unfurls, open to the sky, bordered by crumbling stone and wildflowers wrung free of the cracks. Blackwater Bay stretches out, restless yet endlessly calm. Morning mist spinning in pale ribbons above its waters. Masts and sails, miniature from this height, dot the horizon. The city's breath, the river's long sigh, the ache of distant gull cries. Together, they compose a landscape of edges both sharp and soft. I settle on a flat stone at the terrace's rim, toes pointed into empty air. The wind is alive, shifting, carrying the rush of the tide and the fragrance of wild thyme. Far out in the bay, storm clouds gather, blue-black, seductive, promising more than just rain. As I watch, the world slows, heavy with anticipation. Lightning flickers along the far skirts of the sky. King's Landing's towers bristle below, some proud, others sagging with memory. I trace their spires with my finger, connecting them like constellations. The water below reflects the changing sky, a mirror laced with secrets, as if the bay itself remembers all its storms. The first fat drops reach me, cool and waking, pattering against my cloak. The world narrows to grey water, shifting cloud, and the secret, holy hush that always precedes a storm. I close my eyes and listen. The low, thrumming drum of thunder, the wing-beat hush of birds fleeing inland, the distant, urgent call of sailors lashing their craft tighter. When I open my eyes again, the storm has not quite arrived, yet its promise hovers in every breath. My heartbeat slows to the rhythm of the bay, the city, the gathering rain. There is no hurry here, only patience, as ancient as the stone on which I sit. For a while, I am nothing but a shadow on the wind, a watcher at the world's edge as King's Landing readies for rain. These moments shimmer inside me, bright and soft, a peace only found in the heart of storms. Rain intensifies, draping the city in silver veils. But beneath it all, I sense a promise, that after the storm, the city will shine cleaner, kinder, its mysteries momentarily revealed like pearls in the surf. I tuck this feeling away, my cloak heavy, but my spirit lighter, and begin the gentle descent home. The storm's memory lingers through the following day, a clean, green sweetness on every street, traces of puddle lights turning the cobbles into a patchwork of mirrors. Most of the city moves about its purpose, but I feel unrushed as I make my way back to the Galloping Hen, grateful for the stillness the storm left behind. Inside, the tap room is quieter than usual, all talk muffled under the soft weight of post-rain contentment. I find a corner table by the fire, its warmth drawing a slow comfort into my bones. Beside me, a tray of half-melted candles flickers, their light painting gentle halos on the old wood. It feels like the perfect time for reflection, for letting the city's mysteries settle gentle in my heart. I order a pot of chamomile infused with honey and take my notebook from my satchel, fingers tracing the worn cover before opening it to a fresh page. The fire's soft crackle becomes the rhythm for my thoughts, and soon words begin to flow, memories of the river and its secrets, sketches of gardens and foggy terraces, notes on the gentle cadence of a city caught between storm and calm. Across the room, the innkeep moves quietly among her guests. She pauses by my table, her eyes gentle, lips lifting in a knowing smile. "You've found the city's quieter corners," she says, as if reading my thoughts. "You wear them on your face, calm and a little wonder." Her words comfort me. She pours another cup of tea with care, her presence steady as an old oak. Candlelight gleams off the glass in the windows, painting strange shapes against the smoke-dark walls. I close my eyes for a moment and listen to the low murmur of voices, the scrape of a wooden spoon in the kitchen, the faintest echo of a song someone hums, half attended, while scrubbing the floor. At my table, time stretches. Each flicker of the candle feels like a secret passed from hand to hand. I copy out a line from Master Thomas's ledger, remembering the hush beneath the city. For journeys begun and mysteries that comfort. The repetition soothes me, a mantra in the glow of wax and flame. A soft rain begins again, outside. I watch as droplets race down the window panes, tracing fractured lines of light. The city is blurred, reduced to soft glows and muted motion beyond the glass. Inside, the world is contained, held together by fire and tea, the gentle rhythm of breathing in unison with shelter and peace. For a time, I write nothing. I sip my tea and simply listen, letting unseen stories wash over me in candlelight. The mysteries of King's Landing no longer feel distant. They are woven into every moment, every simple pleasure. What was once exotic is now intimate. As I finish the last of my tea, I press another petal into my notebook, a pinched star from the secret gardens. It remains vivid, a bit of green memory kept alive by light and warmth. A final look at the candle's gentle flame reminds me, even in this city of shadows, there is always a light waiting in quiet corners. I gather my things and climb to my high window room, feeling deeply and quietly at home. The chill of night seeps through the galloping hen's walls, but it is a kindly cold, a promise of deeper rest. I slip beneath the heavy blankets, letting their soft weight lull me to quietness. Moonlight creeps in through the shutters, painting silver bars on the rough floorboards. I lie still, hands folded over my notebook, and let the day's memories unravel slowly through my mind. Sleep is not immediate. Instead, I drift in a calm, waiting space, suspended between waking and dreams. The city's sounds reach me in muted echoes, the distant tread of boots on stone, the hush of leaves brushing the tiles, a midnight bell tolling far away. Each is gentle, softened by the hour, blending into a lullaby. I think of the secret places, the winding stairs, the candlelit ledgers, the soft gardens high above the city's noise. I replay the kindness of strangers, the lamplighter's careful hand, the old woman's lavender sprig, Master Thomas's patient wisdom, the innkeep's silent reassurance. Their presences linger with me, as real as any touch. Outside, the night deepens, the sky indigo and velvet. I watch moonbeams shift, tracing slow arcs across the narrow bed. Overhead, a wry wind tugs at the eaves, and the sign of the galloping hen swings, creaking in small circles. The inn mutters around me, pipes ticking, floorboards creaking quietly, the sigh of a settling house. In this quiet pocket of time, I let myself breathe slow and deep. My mind drift over the day's images, blue river water shimmering with sun and story, the echo of my own footsteps on ancient stone. I recall the terrace above Blackwater Bay, the taste of rain on my lips, the calm after the storm. Each memory lowers me gently towards sleep, a soft anchor to the world's edge. I reflect on what I have found. King's Landing is neither cruel nor kind, neither loud nor silent. It is a city built of questions and gentle answers, a place where time bends and breath finds its natural pace. Here, even the darkness is softened, each shadow a cradle for peace. I pull the blankets higher and close my eyes. The future, tomorrow's possible wonders, wait quietly in the wings, unhurried and patient. For now, it is enough to rest in the careful hush of midnight, wrapped in the certainty of shelter, mystery, and the city's patient heart. Outside, a single lantern flickers through the glass, keeping gentle watch as I begin to slide slowly and sweetly into sleep. Some mornings begin aloud, others arrive in a hush so soft only the heart's quietest chambers remember. Today, when I wake, King's Landing is wrapped in an expectant calm. The city outside lies swaddled in mist, rooftops muffled, the clangor of commerce held at bay by the soft hand of fog. I rise slowly, letting the warmth of blankets fall away, and move to the window. The streets below are softened, their lines blurred, their angles blunted by a silvery haze. Figures drift like ghosts, their footfalls buried beneath a world made newly gentle. There is a sacredness to the hush, as though the city itself breathes softer in this cocoon of mist. I linger at the window, sipping from the cup the innkeep has left on my sill, a kindness delivered without words, warm and fragrant with cinnamon and clove. My mind unspools, running back over the journey that has brought me here. I slip into fresh clothes, wrap my cloak about me, and descend the stairs. The common room is nearly empty. The few guests present nod their own sleep-heavy greetings. Their voices are measured, as if in respect for the hush that holds the world outside. On impulse, I turn not toward the city's crowd, but toward an alley where the fog is thickest. Each step is slow, deliberate. My boots leave softened marks, quickly swallowed by dew. King's Landing's usual energy is absent, replaced by a comfort, an enchantment that makes every breath feel easy. In the stillness, sounds and shapes take on new significance. The drip of water from a gutter, the low hum of a bee woken too early, the flicker of a sparrow's tail as it vanishes into the haze. Everything slows, made sacred by the gentle hand of morning. I find myself at the banks of the river once more, the water wearing a cap of mist, the opposite shore nearly vanished from view. I pause here, letting the quiet rinse me clean. The river's flow is unhurried, a ribbon of time unwinding at its own pace. I close my eyes and feel the city pulse beneath my feet, slow, kind, waiting only for my permission to reveal herself again. Sometime later, I hear footsteps beside me. It is Master Thomas, the bookseller, his eyes crinkled with warmth. We exchange soft greetings, both of us content to share the peace. He draws a flask from his pocket and pours coffee into the lid, offering it. We stand like old friends, united in reverence for the city made new by fog. Today's mysteries are simple ones, quieter than before. They live in the space between heartbeats, in the way the mist softens hardships and disappointments, in the patience of a city that holds more comfort than danger. We talk little, and that is enough. When at last the fog begins to lift, revealing the gold tip of a distant steeple, I feel a peace settle inside me, as tangible as the warmth of the cup in my hand. The city will return to bustle, to rumor, to laughter and argument and song. But for this morning, I am wrapped in soft whispers, content with stillness, grateful for every secret the city has so gently shared. Night returns, tender and slow. a velvet ribbon weaving through the stones and alleys of King's Landing. I find myself back in the tiny garret above the Galloping Hen, notebooks full and spirit stilled. The city breathes outside, gentle, watchful, alive with memory and possibility. But here, in this safe and quiet room, the hush is whole. I light a single candle, its thin flame steady as a promise. Shadows bloom across the walls, softening the edges of wood and stone. With every breath, I feel the day slip further away, the adventure, the discovery, the gentle unraveling of every mystery tucked inside the city's heart. The window stands open, letting in the salt breath of evening. For a while I listen, the lullaby thrum of distant waves, the faint echo of laughter in some far-off lane, the hush as a flock of pigeons settles high atop the tiles. Each sound eases me, quiets me, until I am little more than a slow, anchoring breath in the hush of night. I slip beneath the blankets, their familiar weight cocooning me in warmth. My notebook rests beside me, a guardian of secrets and stories. The candle's glow wavers, painting silent stories on plaster. Each flicker is a kindness, slowing my heartbeat, lowering me into the world of dream. Outside, King's Landing glows with scattered lanterns, yet the city's true promise is in its shadows, its gentle corners, its forgiving silences, its mysteries that wait quietly for dawn. Each stone, every echo, speaks softly now, and I feel myself held, safe, and at peace in the folds of its arms. Sleep finds me easily. I drift on the memory of gardens in the high air, of rain over Blackwater Bay, of ancient stairs and secret ledgers, of soft bread and wise words, of candlelight and the kindness of those I chance to meet. My journey is complete, yet only begun, for the city will keep her mysteries, and tomorrow, if I wish, I may walk her lanes again. Tonight, I surrender to the peace that comes at the edge of dreaming, the tender hush beneath stone and sky. King's Landing keeps watch. My breath deepens. My thoughts grow slow and sweet. I let the quiet claim me, heart and mind washed clean, drifting gently into sleep. Here, beneath the gentle hush of old stone and steady flame, I am home.